Okay, so yesterday we are discussing about this particular material cost estimation. So if I go into the go to tab, and if I go into the cost, and if I do the analysis of this particular product which I'm manufacturing, yesterday we have seen about, okay, what is the finished product, what is the BOM, what is the routing, what are the work center. Okay, in the work center, what are the activities we are going to be taken, like we are taking the production activity, we are taking the machine setup, we are taking the labor hours. Okay, these all are going to be called as activity types. So now let me go into the activity types. Okay, what are the activity types we are going to be using for this particular manufacturing of this particular product? Because once you confirm the activities only, once you confirm the activities, okay, your production is going to be startup, where the standard price is going to be calculated. If before the activities are not confirmed, your raw material is just procured from the vendor, so you cannot do the standard cost estimation for the raw material. Why? Because until or unless the raw material has been sent for the consumption, until or unless if the raw material is not sent for the consumption, the raw material will be calculated on the moving average price, not on the standard price. So now I want to confirm the activities. I want to confirm the activities. So SAP, the PP consultant, what they're going to do, they're using the transaction code called as CO11N. Very, very important. For them, it is not for us. CO11N is the transaction code, the SAP PP consultants. Okay, once they created the production order, they want to confirm the activities actually. So to confirm this activity, this is what exactly CO11N, this is for the confirmation purpose. Okay, they're going to give the order number, and what are all the activities you can see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a certification question actually. How many activities can be confirmed in one production order? So there will, okay, 6 activity types are going to be confirmed. Please maintain this as a important one. 6 activity types we can maintain, like how many hours the machine has to be worked. Okay, labor hours, production setup hours, like this. There can be 6 activity types can be confirmed for a particular production order. Once the activity types are confirmed, okay, so you can calculate the material based on the standard price, not based on the moving average price. Why? Because your raw material is getting converted to semi-finished good. Now your raw material is getting converted to semi-finished good. Semi-finished goods and the finished goods are valuated at the standard price, not based on the moving average price, not based on the moving average price. So if I go into this, if I go into if I go into the cost, this is the production order actually. This is the production order. So what is the transaction code for using the production order? CO03. CO03 is the transaction code which I am using to display the production order. So I'll go into the production order, and I'm giving the whatever the production order which I'm going to be giving, and press enter, and I can see it is in the release status. Okay, I can see it is under the release status. Okay, now I'll go to the to see the cost. To see the cost, okay, go to cost, and there is an option called as a cost analysis here. Okay, so click on the cost analysis. Here you can see the cost analysis of the particular material. You can see here, this is the cost analysis. Okay, these are the several cost elements are involved. Okay, see, okay, what are the material overheads, okay, and what is the raw material. Okay, raw consumption of the raw material, this is the raw material. These two are going to be called as semi-finished goods, and the last one is also going to be called as consumption of the raw material. You can see the actual cost. You can see the actual cost. How I can see the actual cost? Once you run the standard cost estimation, the actual cost of the materials are going to be obtained over here. You can see here. Now
Here.
Yes, sir.
So all these GL accounts are cost elements that are
exactly. These all are going to be called as the cost elements.
Yeah, all these are coming from. Are they coming from the OBYC itself?
OBYC transaction. OBYC transaction. I'll give the list of. I'll prepare. I have an Excel sheet with me. So under this Excel sheet, that's just like a template actually. So under which particular program, under which particular under which particular account key, what is in the OBYC, what account key has to be assigned, what is the GL account has to be assigned. I have the Excel sheet with me. Actually, normally we'll use the same Excel sheet for all the projects. Actually, I'll share with you all of you.
That'll be great. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Now, now I'll go to particular GL account. Now I'll go to this particular GL account. /OFS00. I'm going to the GL account. and I click on the display, this is going to be called as the plant activity production order. Now, if I go to the control data, so here you can see here the cost element category, they have given it as a 22. 22 is nothing but which is going to be called as external settlement. We are going to settle all the prices to the material at the end of your project actually. Once you complete your production order, so you have to settle the cost to the material. Okay, whatever the cost, what are the overheads which have been incurred, so that all the costs are going to be settled to your final finished product. That is going to be called as material. I'll explain all the settlement rule now. Okay, now, I just want to go back just one step back. This is going to be called as actual cost. Yesterday we discussed that, and this is going to be called as the target cost, and these are going to be called as raw material consumption. You can see here, these all are going to, this is the raw material consumption, and this is the inventory changes in the raw material, means it is going to be called as semi-finished good, and all the inventory changes are going to be coming, and this is the finished product actually. Now, this is going to be called as secondary cost actually. Okay, so 9 series always will be started with secondary cost. I'll go to FS00. Okay, this is going to be called as the raw material overhead. Okay, you can see here. Okay, this is going to be given the category with a 41. 41 nothing but an overhead rate. Now, what is the overhead? Overhead is nothing but we are going to be taking certain rate or percentages. Okay, so if I go into the Excel sheet, okay, if I go into the Excel sheet, if I go into the Excel sheet, okay, now I'm going to be taking the base, okay, credit, or it is going to be called as overhead, and the credit. Credit always going to be hitting to the cost center. Okay, credit. Now, what is the description? Description is going to be description, and here I'm putting from mine to. Okay, this is going to be the normal actually. So this is going to be the header. Okay, which we are going to be calling it as a header. Now, there will be a material actually. So we are going to be calling the material. Material is going to be the finish, okay, which is going to be called as a product actually. So on the material, we are going to be calculating the material overheads actually. Material overheads. We have to calculate the material overheads. So these material overheads are going to be calculated on the material. Okay, on the material. So here I'm going to be taking the base as a B00. Okay, anything you can take any alphanumerical value. So B00 is nothing but the base. So the base is going to be the material. On this base, you have to calculate the material overhead. Material overhead, either you're calculating on the percentage wise or on the rate wise. There are two things we need to understand. Percentage wise or the rate wise. See, in some companies, they will use the 5% or 9% as the fixed overheads on the material. Actually, that is going to be the fixed overhead. So the overheads. Now, if I go into the SAP /n SPRO, IMG controlling product cost controlling, product cost planning, basic settings for the material costing, overhead. Here you can see here it is called as overhead, and here maintain the define the cost sheet actually. Okay, define the cost sheet. Now we need to define the cost sheet for calculating the overheads actually. Okay, normally we'll do all the calculation of the overheads based on the cash sheet. Okay, this cost sheet is getting assigned to the valuation variant. Okay, this valuation variant is getting assigned in the production order. If I go into the production order, see here, if I go into the production order, if we go into the controls, see here in this controls, okay, you can see planned costing variant, and this is going to be called as actual costing variant. You can see here planned costing variant and actual costing variant. Okay, in this costing variant, you are going to be assigning the cost sheet. I'll explain you now. Okay, the costing variants are getting assigned in the materials. Okay, in the in the production order for calculating the product. And here you can see the cost sheet. Okay, here you can see the cost sheet. Okay, what is the cost sheet you are going to be using? Okay, B49. Okay, is the cost sheet. Now I'll go and explain you. Now here, B49, here this is the cost sheet actually. See here, this is the cost sheet. B49 is nothing but your cost sheet. And I'm double clicking, I'm selecting the B49 and I'm double clicking on the costing rows. And here you can see here, okay, so the cost sheet is very simple over here. Okay, this is what exactly. So company doesn't want to calculate any material overheads. Okay, they're directly taken the base as a material, but there are no material overheads. Okay, material overheads are there, but here they are taken. There are no production overheads. Sorry, there are no production overheads. Material overheads they are taken. Okay, the material overheads are going to be calculated on the 10. 10 is nothing but the row. 10 is nothing but your base. Base is nothing but material. So 10, 10. You can see here 10 and 10. Okay, means you're calculating the percentage of the material overheads on the base of your material. So how much percentage? How much percentage you're taking the material overhead? So the CO20 is nothing but your overhead. So if I select this, if I select the material overhead, and if I click on the overhead rate, see here, if I click on the overhead rate, okay, for the controlling area for the particular plant, I have taken the percentage as a 10, 4.3502 and 4.502 because based on the overhead types are there here. You can see here based on the overhead types are there. So there will be three overhead types will be there. One is actual overhead, planned overhead, another one is the commitment overhead rate. So where we are going to be committing the overhead and based on the production orders. So whether you want to calculate the actual overheads once the goods have been manufactured, or you want to go with the planned overhead, or you want to go with the target overhead. Normally we'll take one or two. Okay, where normally we'll take one or two. Commitment is not going to be required. So here somebody has taken this is not required. Actually, I'll delete it. So here I've taken the actuals. Another one is going to be called as the planned overhead. So two overheads I have taken. One is the actual overheads are going to, actual overheads are going to be 4.502 and planning overhead. Okay, that is this is the fixed percentage actually. This is not the rate. This is the fixed percentage which I have taken. So once the goods have been confirmed, this is the percentage of the overheads which I'm going to be calculating on the material actually. In the same way, okay, you have the production overheads, and on the administration, on the production overheads, you will take the direct labor cost, indirect labor cost. Okay, you can take several concepts. So if I go into the standard SAP here, if I go into the standard SAP overheads, so if I select the standard one, you can see here, this is the standard one actually, SAP given, okay, percentage. Okay, so here you can see here, this is how exactly the complex or something like the overhead sheet look like. Okay, this is the cost sheet actually. If you see the first one, this is the base. On the base, you are calculating the overhead that is going to be called as the material overhead. Okay, so the material overheads are getting calculated on the base. So from 10, and you have the something like wages, and you have something like salaries. Okay, the salaries and the wages are going to be your base. Okay, now you have the manufacturing overheads. Manufacturing overheads are nothing but production overheads. We call them as the production overheads. These production overheads should be calculated on the wages and the salaries, that is 40 to 45, and the manufacturing cost. Okay, cost of goods manufactured. Finally, you will get the cost which is going to be called as the cost of goods manufactured. If you remove the material overheads and the production overhead, what is the final component you will get? Cost of goods manufactured. Now, if you want to know what is the total cost of goods manufactured, so the cost sheet will give the complete information. Once you remove what is the material overheads and what are the overheads before the production, once the cost of goods has been manufactured, so the particular portion of the overheads are going to be removed. And on this cost of goods manufactured, again you have the administration overhead, sales overhead, and finally you will get the cost of goods sold. So cost of goods manufactured is nothing but it is completely based on the overheads of the material and the production overheads, and cost of goods sold you will get after you remove all these administration overheads and the sales overhead. The final overheads calculation will be going to be called as cost of goods manufactured and the cost of goods sold. Very, very important. Once again, I'm telling, cost of goods manufactured will be getting at the time of once you deduct all the overheads on the material and the production, you will get the cost of goods manufactured. And cost of goods sold you will get the cost of goods sold once you remove all the administration and the sales and extra whatever the other overheads or rates are there. Final, you will get the cost of goods sold. This is your complete cost sheet. This is your complete cost sheet. The overheads which you are going to be calculating. Now I'm going to be selecting the material overheads. Okay, now I'm selecting the material overheads.
One question here.
Yeah.
But if you say cost of goods sold is once you deduct all the material and the manufacturing overheads and the administration overheads and the sales overhead, if you remove all of them, then it's just the material that's remaining, right?
You say?
Cost of goods sold, it should include all these overheads also, right?
It is the finished product actually.
Yeah, but it should include all the overheads, right? Because all the
I'll do the settlement, sir. I'll do the settlement. I'll settle all the cost to this particular material. I'll run the settlement role.
Okay.
Because I need to run the settlement role. Now here, if you want to know the actual cost of the cost of goods sold or actual cost of the cost of goods manufactured, you have to remove all these overheads, no sir. Then only you will get the actual cost. Then afterwards, I'm going to settle all the cost to the material. I'll run the settlement role. COE 88.
So which of these goes and falls into the material master cost?
Which one you are talking?
Which of these, the cost of goods manufactured or the cost of goods sold, which one and falls into the price, standard price of the material master?
The standard price of the material master will be the cost of goods manufactured.
But if you do cost of goods manufactured, you're removing of all the overheads, right? Material overhead and manufacturing overhead.
Sir, one thing I can tell you, sir, once you are doing the goods receipt, once you also once the finished product is going to be coming out from your location. Okay, so for example, I have done all the manufacturing of my finished goods. Now from the plant, I have to move the material to my warehouse. So what is that accounting entry? Means it is nothing but the goods receipt. Goods receipt against the production order. You are going to be calling it as goods receipt against the production order. For example, here I'm going to be writing goods receipt against the production order. See that the important, it is not a purchase order, it is the production order. I'm going to be taking it as a production order. Now, once you have manufactured the goods, then the first stage you will get the goods issue. Goods issue. What is the goods issue? Goods issue is nothing but raw material issue against the production order. Means raw material issue against the production order means the accounting entry will be raw material consumption account will become the debit and raw material inventory account will become the credit. This is the accounting entry at the time of goods issue. Now you have done the total manufacturing of the goods, sir. You have done the total manufacturing of the goods. Now you have confirmed the activity. Okay, all the activities are getting confirmed. Means what are all the activities you want to be involved in this manufacturing of this particular goods or particular manufacturing of this particular raw material to the finished product good. Okay, so I have shown yesterday. Okay, these are going to be called as your bombs. Okay, see here. These are going to be called as your bombs. Okay, if I go into the components, this is the finished product actually. This is going to be called as a finished product. Now, if I click on the component, so these are the materials which I am going to be using for the manufacturing of the goods actually. So these are the materials are confirmed and these are the operations have been confirmed. If I click on the operations, and this is the work center. If I double click on the work center, okay, production setup, machine, labor, these all are going to be scheduling. Okay, if I click on the cost, okay, see here. This is what exactly the activities have been confirmed and all the productions order. Okay, whatever the cost which has been involved, go and hit to this particular cost center. It will go and hit to this cost center. This is going to be called as a cost center, which is getting credited once the goods receipt has been issued. Now, I confirmed everything here. I have confirmed everything. Okay, so here you can see here. Okay, production setup. Another one is the machine. Another one is the labor. These all are going to be called as activity types. Now,
one question here. How is that cost center here determined? Is it manually entered or is it determined automatically?
That is what C111N. C111N is the transaction code. We are going to be creating the activity types to the production people. They will ask us, okay, FI, a controlling consultant, we want 3 activity types actually. So these 3 activities types I had to include in the production master record. So we had to create these activity types and we had to give it to them. So these activity types are going to be confirmed by the production people by using the C111N transaction code. Clear?
So it's not based on the plant that this cost center is derived. It is basically you see, you don't do per production order. You don't go and assign the cost center, right, Mahesh?
So in the production order, I am assigning the cost center, not at the plant level.
Yeah. So when the production order is getting created, this cost center should automatically probably get derived, right? Not be entered manually.
No, it will be derived from the controlling area. Whatever the cost center you have been derived. Okay, yes, you are absolutely right, because we are going to do the activity planning. From the activity planning, this cost center is going to be derived.
So basically, whatever activities that you have chosen,
yes,
based on those, that particular cost center is going to be.
Yes, exactly. Okay, see here. Okay, see here. Now I'll explain you one thing. Now I'll explain you. /O. Accounting, controlling. Somebody, can you mute your call, because I'm getting a resound. Yeah, master data. I'll go to the activity. I'll go to the individual processing, and I'll go to the display KL01, and I will give the controlling area. So these are the activity types which I have. Okay, these are the activity types which I'm going to be taking. So in this activity types, these are going to be called as list of activity types. You can see these are going to be called as the list of activity types here. So there are several activity types you are going to be creating. Okay, if I come back, okay, these are the activity types. Okay, 3, another one is the 1, another one is the 11. These are the 3 activity types. So one is the 3, another one is the 11, another one is the 1. Okay, so these are the 3 activity types. Okay, if I go to the machine 1, okay, if I go to the machine 1, if I press enter, so in each and every activity type, I'm going to be assigning the secondary cost element, not as the primary cost elements. Activities are going to be assigned with the secondary cost elements. Okay, this is the activity. And you have taken the activity unit as the hours. You can see here that you have taken the activity unit as an hours, and this is the allocation cost element for the secondary cost element for the machine hours. The number of hours the machine is going to be working. Okay, this is the secondary cost element. Now, if I copy the secondary cost element, and if I open one more session, if I go to the FS00, now if I give the same cost element, secondary cost element, and here you can see this is going to be called as internal activity allocations. Means all the internal activity allocations are going to be set into this particular cost element. Okay, you can see here, this is the activity type. Now the same activity type, what I'm going to be using, I'll go to the /n KP26. KP26 is the transaction code where I'm going to be using for the planning. Okay, in this planning, while I'm doing the planning of these cost centers and with the activity types, okay, so here the cost centers are going to be derived. So here, what you're going to do, what is the which cost center and what is the activity type. Here we are going to be giving the cost center. Okay, based on this cost center, what are the activity types and plannings you are going to be maintaining. So based on that, so this is what exactly we are going to be calculating here. So once the goods have been manufactured, once the cost of goods, once the cost of goods have been manufactured, once you complete all this, the actual cost of the material is going to be calculated based on the cost estimation. I'll do the cost estimation, actual cost estimation for the particular material, and I'm going to get the particular figure. That figure is going to be obtained in the Metal Master record based on which price, whether you want to go with what price you want to do the standard cost estimation. Here, if I come here, if I go into the controls, here you have the costing variant here. Okay, so one is going to be called as the planned costing variant, another one is going to be called as actual cost variant. Okay, now if I go to this,
so Mahesh, there you had 3 activity types, right? So all 3 activity types had the same cost center. That's why there's only single field for the cost center.
Exactly. Okay, now I'll go to the production cost center, production cost controlling. I'll go to the cost object controlling. I'll go to the production cost by order. It is a manufacturing order. I'll go to the manufacturing order. And here these are going to be called as the activity type. Okay, costing variance. So what costing variance? One is okay PYG1, another one is the PYG2. One PYG1 is going to be called as a planned activity, a planned costing variant. Another one is going to be called as the actual cost variant. Okay. Now I'm going to be coming to the check costing variance for the manufacturing of the orders. Now here these are going to be the same. See, these are the 2 costing variants I'm going to be using. See here, PYG1, another one is the PYG2. Now let me go to the PYG2. Why? Because this is going to be called as production order actuals. Okay. Now if I double click on it, it will take me to the costing. So this is the production order actuals. Okay, this is going to be called as the production order actuals, and the production order actuals, if I go into the costing type, okay, this is what exactly you are going to be using, the costing type, which is going to be called as actuals. We are going to be calculating the actuals. And here, this is the cost component structure, which I'm going to be assigning. Here you can see that this is going to be called as the cost component structure for your company code. If I go and see company code, so this is the company code. So there are several cost plans. There are several plans have been assigned to your cost company code. You can see here multiple plans have been assigned, and this is your cost component structure. Assignment, everything. Okay, so this is what PHCG. So this is going to be called production order actual. So there are the 2. Okay, there are the 2 costing variants are going to be assigned. So what is happening here? Actual cost of the goods. Okay, when you are going to be getting the standard cost estimation, before you deliver the goods, before you do the consumption, before you do the goods receipt. What is the goods receipt here? Goods receipt is nothing but, okay, your goods receipt is nothing but your finished products are moving out from the production department to, that is the plant, to the warehouse. So what is the accounting entry here? Okay, what is the accounting entry here? Finished goods inventory account to account is getting debited. Okay, change in finished goods inventory account. Okay, that is the change in finished goods inventory account is nothing but cost of goods manufactured. Okay, so this is the accounting entry you are going to be getting at the time of goods received. So from the goods received, the goods are going to be issued is nothing but a delivery. So delivery. So once the delivery is going to be coming, what is the accounting entry here? At the time of delivery, cost of goods sold account to sold account is getting debited, and your finished goods inventory account, is getting created. This is at the time of delivery. So before you confirm the goods receipt, actually, okay, so before you do the goods receipt, SAP is very clearly telling that you have to do the standard cost estimation. So once you get the standard cost estimation only, I can get the actual cost. Okay, if I take this particular material, here, okay, now I'll go to the /O. I'll go to the /O, MM03. I'll go to the MM03. Now I'll give the same material. If I go and select costing 1 and costing 2, so here you can see here, the material cost estimation is going to be running. This is the valuation class which I'm going to be taking. So what are all the materials which I have taken? The material which I have taken for this particular product is going to be, you can see in the components actually. So in the components you have taken, these are the 3 materials. These are all the materials which I have taken. So what I will do, I will use the transaction code, which is because there are several materials are there. Before I do the goods receipt, I'll go to /n CK40N. I'll use the CK40N is the transaction code and I'll press enter and I will give the date here. What is the costing run date? So the costing run date is going to be 01/03/2019. Okay, the costing run. Okay, the day. Oh, sorry. Here I go. Sorry, I'll remove it. 01 or I'll give on 31st. Okay, I'll give on 28/02/2019. Month end. Okay, I'll give the costing run as the test 1. I'll press enter. So costing run as does not created. Now I'm going to be creating now. If I click on the create, now I'm writing here costing run for the test 1. Okay. Now what is the costing variant? Okay, so now this is very, very important. Either you want to, now if I go back, either you want to go with the actual costing variant or the planned costing variant. Planned costing variant will be your planned cost is going to be calculated based on the KP26. KP26 where you are going to be giving the plan. Now actual cost is nothing but we are going to be taking. So here costing variant, I'll take here. Okay. Actual costing variant. Where is the actual costing variant? I'm going to be taking PFC1, material cost estimation, and the version. Controlling area A000. Company A000. Company code 1710. Okay. Now I'm going to be giving all the required parameters. Now save it. Now save it. So once you have saved the data, so costing to till what date to what date you want. Okay, so here I'm going to be changing the date, costing from 01/02/2019 till 28/02/2019. 01/02/2019, 28/02/2019. Okay, now these all are going to be called as the structures. We can call them as the structures here. Okay, each and every structure has to be get executed if you want to do the material cost estimation for each and every material wise. Okay, now click on the parameter. Okay, costing line has not yet been saved. I'm going to be saving. So what is the material? So I'll take this material now. Complete material because the bills of materials have been created for this particular material. Okay, now save it. Go back. And you can see the execution has come because I'm running the cost estimation for this material. Now I'll select the second one. Okay, structure exposure for this particular material. So you want to go with the background processing? Yes, because background processing is through the batch input. Okay, now save it. Go back. So the execution has come. Now costing. How do you want to maintain the costing? Okay, so I wanted the cost estimation with error log and a log by the costing level. And I want the parallel processing. Okay, it has to run in the background. Okay, costing run has to run in the background. Save it. One is enough. Minimum runs are good. It is asking for the minimum runs. Okay, execution has come. How do you want to do the analysis of the cost? Okay, so result of the cost run or price versus cost estimation, or how do you want to run the cost here? So I want to result of the cost run. Okay, based on the result of the cost run, you're taking the cost run as a test one. Just now you're taken costing date is nothing but 28/2/2018, and you can give the plant and everything. If you want to give the plant and everything, you can get here. Okay, now you can save it.
Mahesh, what is that costing run?
Costing run is just like it is a text actually, so it is identification code.
So it will, when it runs, whether it will compare with the actuals or
No, whatever the costing you have given here, whatever the costing you have given here, that based on that particular portion, it will going to be whether you want to go with actuals or with the plans. So yes, markup test run. Okay, so you are going to be doing the test run. So if you want to do the test run, I'll remove the test run because I'm going to execute it. Markup prices and release the cost. Okay, remove the test run. I'm going to be releasing the cost. Now all the executions have come here because I set everything in the particular parameter. Now what I will do, I'll start one by one execution now. Select the first one. Select the first one. This is the job name. What is the plan date and everything? Okay, let me check and confirm. Okay, the first one has started execution. Now go to the second one. Same thing. Check and execute. In the batch input session, it is going to run. Third one.
You're not checking the start immediately.
I checked automatically. Default, it will be checked now. It is not coming. It is a default, sir. This one you're talking? I not checked it. Okay, sorry. Sorry. I'll do one more time.
That step you already did, Mahesh.
No, it is throwing as a marking. Actually, it is throwing an error here. Okay, I'll do that afterwards. No, actually it is telling that, okay, now it has completed now. There is no log. What is this? Costing run as locked by the user, okay? Because before that I executed here. Now I'll go to SM37. I'll go to SM37 to see all the logs. Okay, so one has been cancelled and all others have been finished. Okay, one is why it is getting cancelled. Okay, so oh, okay, it is locked actually. So that is what exactly. Okay. Error message object request was currently locked. Okay, so this is what exactly the locked. Okay, I have been locked because before I done this cost estimation, I logged this. Okay, last one. Let me execute one more time. Okay, again, costing run was locked. Okay, 1 second. I'll go one back step. Now I'll go to the MM03. I'll go to the MM03. Okay, before that, I need to open the production order. I need to open the production order CO03. And I need to go to the components. I need to go to the components. Let me select the first component, raw material as the first component. And I'll give the raw material here. I'll give the raw material. Let me select all my accounting and the costing here. Now I'll go to the costing tab 1 and the costing tab 2. Okay, but it has not calculated. Why? Because 10th period, it is still showing in the 10th period. What about this one? It has to calculate. Whether the period is open or not, that's when this one has calculated. You can see here. This one has calculated, okay, the second period, okay, 2019. And what about this one? This one also calculated. Second period 2019, we have calculated second period. This is the period, okay, we have taken, okay, 5.75. Last one, this one. Only one material has not calculated, I think. Okay, why it has not calculated? We have to do the analysis. This one also not calculated. So these two materials means raw materials have not been calculated. Okay, let me see why it has not been calculated actually. So, okay, so one is semi-finished goods and the raw material has not been calculated. Only two materials have been calculated. Now I'll copy this particular material. Let me go to, just go back, one step back. 1 second. There is some errors are there. So first of all, I need to come out from all the screens. CK11N, I'll go to the CK11N and I'll give this material here. Okay, so costing variant, I'll take it as, okay, actual costing variant. Standard cost estimation, I'm going to be taking the standard cost estimation. So date I will give as, okay, date from 01/02/2019, 01/02/2019. Okay, quantity structure. Okay, everything is remains same. Yeah, it is now calculated. Now you can see this particular material. Sir, now your doubt is going to be here. See, sir. Now here you can see here. This is the total cost of goods manufactured, and this is the total cost of goods sold, and this is the total administration cost which is going to be involved, and inventory and the tax. This is at the cost level. If I select here and price unit level, this is at the unit level, means each and every unit level, whatever the price which is going to be included in the material based on the unit level, and this is the lot level, okay, which is going to be calling it based on the lot level. You can see the total price here. And these are the activity types. Okay, these are the activities which are going to be known. Now, if I just go the cost of goods manufactured, now if I see here what are the cost of goods sold, you can see all the cost estimation over here. You can come and you can see here what this is the activity types. Okay, these are going to be called as a secondary cost element, not the primary cost element. These are going to be called as secondary cost element for each and every activity. How do I know? Means if I just scroll down item category, if I see here M is nothing but a material here. You can see here E is nothing but internal activity. Very, very important. Internal activity is nothing but your secondary cost element. Okay. M is nothing but your material. M is nothing but your material. Material is nothing but your raw material. You can see here. M is nothing but your raw material here. Okay. And okay, G is nothing but your overheads. What is the total overheads you are going to be calculating on this particular material? You can see it. These are going to be called as calculation of your total overheads. So here there are three activities. There are three items are going to be taken. One is going to be the E. E is nothing but always internal activity. Internal activity is nothing but your secondary cost element. Here you can see these are the secondary cost elements you are taken. And M is nothing but your material. Okay, this is what exactly your material. And G is nothing but your overheads, which are going to be calculating on the overhead rates about the percentage. So this is what completely we can call it as a cost of goods manufactured for a particular material for the particular transaction. Now, if I go back and if I select here, okay, CO03.
Mahesh, I have a question. So
Yes, sir. 1 second, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Sir, tell me, sir.
The costing sheet which is shown, so we have taken all the planned and the standard cost, right?
Yes, sir.
So how will arrive at the variations from the actual cost to the standard cost? Or
variations are going to be like this, sir. Actually, see here, that's what yesterday also have been discussed, the same point here. See, when you are issuing a raw material to a consumption, actually, see, raw materials are never going to be evaluated at the moving average price. We never evaluate any kind of raw materials at the moving average price. So if you go and check in my material master record, if the raw material has been taken it as a V. V is nothing but it is going to be called as the moving average price. Once you procure all the raw material, once the raw material has been issued, very, very important the point. Once the raw material has been issued to the particular consumption purpose, once the activities are going to be confirmed for the particular manufacturing of this particular products, these are the raw materials which are required, and these are the semi-finished goods which are going to be required for the manufacturing of this particular product. Actually, you can see here for the manufacturing of this particular product, this is the finished product. Actually, we can call it as a finished product. For this manufacturing of this particular finished product, okay, so what is the total quantity we require? So for this we required all these components. For this, we require all these components actually. So each and every component, whatever the raw materials you are procuring from the vendor, these raw materials I'll take always as the moving average price, not as the standard price. But to come to the point of the standard price, what is exactly the standard price of each and every material? Once the activities are confirmed to the production, means what are all the activities? You are taking the production setup, you are taking the machine hours, you are taking the labor hours. So maximum you can take up to 6 activity types for each and every production. Once you confirm the activity, so what may every month, because this is going to be the final product may take up to 3 to 4 months or 5 months or 6 months for manufacturing of a product actually. So every month, this particular finished product will be in the work in progress till the goods have been manufactured, till the goods receipt have been done. So every month end, what my PP consultant will do, he will execute the transaction code called as CK11N or CK40N. So once he has confirmed all the activities on the production cost, every month end or every starting of the month, he will calculate the standard cost estimation of running the CK11 and CK40N. So that particular cost, whatever the actual cost which has been incurred, that cost I will go and sit in the middle master record. I am going to be showing the costing 2 tab. You can see which have you run the cost estimation for this period or not. If you are not run the cost estimation for the particular period, now it is the right time to do the cost estimation. So why? Because if you are not run the cost estimation still, because if I go and see this particular material, still it is in the release status, it is not completely delivered. So until or unless if I change the status to the delivered, you can see here. Okay, these are the different statuses you can see here. One is going to be called as a release, another one is going to be called as a delivered, another one is going to be called as a precaution. There are different things are there. So until or unless if the final product is completely delivered, if the status is showing it as the delivered, you cannot do the standard cost estimation. Very, very important. Why? Because delivered is nothing but you have issued, means your production order has been completely successfully completed. You completed, and the goods are going to be delivered against to the production order to the sales. Means what is example? So that is going to be called as cost of goods sold account to change finished goods inventory account. So before you keep the status as a delivered in your production order, means your production order is still it is open. So still, maybe it will be 3 months or 4 months or 5 months. You have to do the standard cost estimation based on the price of the material as on date. Clear, sir?
So when you say delivered, right, the GR
Yes.
is already done, right?
Exactly, you're absolutely right. Delivered is nothing but the GR has done. That is what exactly I'm going to be calling. What is the GR? Goods receipt. Goods receipt is nothing but your cost of goods manufactured to the cost of inventory of changes. Finished goods inventory account is going to be the credit over here.
So, but this delivered is delivered to the warehouse, not to the sales order.
No, this is delivered means goods issued, goods receipt. We are going to be calling them as a goods receipt actually. Delivered is nothing but we are issuing the goods. We are receiving, okay? We are receiving the goods against to the sales order actually. Why? Because this is the sales order I had taken. You're right, sir. You're right. This is the sales order. You can see here. This is the sales order. This is the ordering party. Means it's a receipt. You're right. Cost of goods manufactured to change in finished goods. So delivered is nothing but when the sales people against to the sales order, when they are going to run the VL01N, which is going to be called as the delivered of the goods, at the time cost of goods sold account will come into the picture.
Okay, so if they don't create a production order with respect to a sales order, let's say it's make to stock.
It is a make to stock. Exactly, you are going to be correct. It is a make to stock. It is not a make to order.
So in that case, the delivered is delivered to the warehouse rather than delivered to the sales order.
No, there will be no delivered to the sales order with reference to this. That is delivered to the warehouse, planned to the warehouse.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Tomorrow, what we will say, tomorrow I am going to explain the cost component structure actually in the Monday. Tomorrow means for you, it is the Monday. I am going to explain the cost component structure, how the cost component structure is going to be derived for that.
Mahesh, one more question, Mahesh, before you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
When a particular activity you assign to cost centers, right? How will ensure that activity types are not accidentally going into, for example, an administrative cost center? Is there any way we can make sure that the activity centers are not accidentally we are selecting for administrative cost centers?
No. Here in the cost sheet here, see here.
Is there any mechanism in play?
Here in the cost sheet only, see here, while you're creating the cost sheet, the cost will go and hit to the cost centers here. Okay, see here. See, material cost estimation is always with the quantity structure, and material cost estimation without quantity structure. Material cost with the quantity structure is the MTO scenario, and material cost without quantity structure is the MTS scenario. If I go into the cost sheet, if I select any standard one, so here I'm going to be giving the credit here. You can see here the credit cost center. Okay, see here. Okay, so all the overheads or something like calculation will go to this particular credit. Now I'm selecting this line, and if I double click on the credit, give the controlling area, and here I'll give the cost center, sir. Here, this is the cost center. Here, whatever the cost center you are going to be giving, that cost center is going to be. Now in this case, let me check about this particular B49. They have taken the two, material overhead, another is the administration overhead. See, this is the cost center.
Okay. So the cost center is not based out of the activity type; it's based out of this costing sheet.
Setting, exactly.
I believe cost category. It is based on the cost category, basically, right?
Category only, sir. Because see, cost centers actually will give the category whether it is a planned or activity or what it may be. So based on that, we are going to be taking into consideration.
Yeah, that's why I specifically asked.
Exactly.
It can also be sales category, administrative.
Anything, sir. That depends upon your requirement. Business to business, there will be changes are there.
I mean, is there any mechanism where 1, 2, 3, that numbering system, which
No, not like this. Not like this.
Cost elements are always like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Exactly.
9 and Z.
Yeah.
Cost element. You're shown that.
This is wherever you go in the world, actually, any cost element which is starting with a series of 9 is nothing but a secondary cost element, sir. Very, very important. This you have to keep it in your mind, sir. Everybody.
It's only for allocation purpose, right? So
Exactly.
But now this is also a GL account, right?
GL account. Now in SAP S4HANA, this has been made it as a GL account, but make sure that before you assign it in the financial statement, the balance in the secondary cost element always should be settled. Actually, there should not be any balance in the secondary cost element.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Also, this one
earlier we used to create a secondary cost element in the KA06, and now that still remain as it is, right?
No. Now there is no KP. Now there is no K06. Sir. Now that's what I'm telling you. Now the secondary cost elements have been included in the AC DOCA table. So now you can also show the secondary cost elements in your P&L account and balance sheet.
Oh, okay. So the primary cost element as well as the secondary cost element will be created.
Both are going to be now. Both are going to be treated as a GL accounts.
So how do we know that we need to create a secondary cost element? Because all.
No. Here there are going to be categories, sir. I'll show you here. Okay. See, if I go to the /NFS00, see, sir. Okay. If I'm creating any secondary cost element, for example, I'm creating any secondary cost elements here. Okay, 94 something like. Okay. Okay. I want to create one secondary cost element with the 2. Okay. Now, if I click on the create, so here you are going to be taking whether it is secondary cost or primary cost. So it has to come under the secondary cost. So if you give the secondary cost, okay, if you give the secondary cost, I'll give internal activity allocation.
Got it.
Okay. Example, internal. If I go to the control data, then it will ask what cost element category, because your secondary, these all are going to be called as secondary cost elements. You can see, I'll select it as internal cost analysis or internal activity, whatever may be here like this.
So that, okay, and that is clear. So the OKP9 is still remains as it is, the linking of the cost elements to cost center?
That is remains same, sir. That there is no change in that.
Okay.
Okay. So one more, the secondary cost element, if you are moving all the costs out of the secondary cost element before putting it in your financial statement, why do you need to put it in the financial statement?
No, sir. See, some clients are expecting here because of making your cost center, because you are making this particular secondary cost element as one of the GL account now. So why can't we bring into the P&L account, and why don't we show in the one of the GL account as the secondary cost element? So that option has been given by the SAP, but if you want to use or doesn't use, it remains upon. But most of the clients, they will not include the secondary cost elements in the P&L account. Only the primary cost and the liabilities and the expenses accounts are going to be taken into consideration. But if you want to have the complete P&L account statement based on the secondary cost element level to see the cost exactly if there is any cost is there in the secondary cost element or not. So that is the reason to have the complete financial statement. You can use the secondary cost element in the P&L account. Otherwise, it is optional. Nowhere it is telling the SAP that you have to use the secondary cost elements in the P&L account.
So this cost component structure, according to the accounts approach, right?
Yes.
In that cost component structure, do you include secondary cost element GL accounts or you don't?
No, only primary cost, sir.
Only primary, right? Yeah.
Only primary. No secondary cost will come in the cost component structure. Cost component structure itself is telling it is a cost. Cost is nothing but a primary.